Hi, welcome back to my home. This time, let's talk about pediatric chiropractic. Yes, that's exactly what I said. So, what I haven't mentioned before is that for 20 years, over 20 years, I worked for a pediatric chiropractor. And let's start with why. Why did I do that for 20 years? Well, back in 1998, when I had my daughter, the delivery was a nightmare. And during the delivery, she had a brachial plexus injury. Now, that's an injury that affects the muscles in the neck. And so, for the first, I don't know, week, 2 weeks, her left arm was totally numb. For those who don't know, a brachial plexus injury left completely untreated results in an atrophied arm. So when you meet people that have one arm kind of curled up like this, and it's more like this, and it's atrophied, that is typically the result of a brachial plexus injury. So Michaela and I were both in the hospital for a week, and when we got out of the hospital, her pediatrician was so concerned that she literally said, I want this baby in my office every day for the next week at 2:00 p.m. You have a standing appointment. So first day out of the hospital, 2:00 rolls around. The next day, 2:00 rolls around. I take her to her doctor's office, and she checks Michaela. Bilirubin's still high, but she's doing well. And she says, I want you to call Dr. Claudia Onrig and make an appointment. And I'm thinking pediatric orthopedist, pediatric neurologist, and she says, no, she's a chiropractor. And I'm just like, yeah, right, that's not going to happen. And for the next week, Michaela was 13 days old when she finally looked at me and she said, this baby is not seeing Claudia. And she wasn't nice about it. And I had ran out of excuses. I had tried I'm not sure if she takes my insurance. She did. I don't know how my husband will feel about it. He didn't care. I had come up with every excuse in the book. And she looked at me and she said, and I will never forget these words, I have given you sound medical advice and you're not taking it. Either you call Dr. Claudia Onrig today to make an appointment for this baby, or I'm going to report you. And she walked out of the room. And I remember thinking, just who are you going to report me to for not taking my baby to a chiropractor? But I was sufficiently scared because, sound medical advice and you're not taking it. She was adamant. So I was crying. By the time I got home, I was still crying. And when my husband called, like he did every day at 3:30 to ask how the appointment went, I was still crying. And, his initial reaction, what's wrong with the baby? Nothing. Okay, then why are you crying? Well, Dr. Krogstad threatened me. Okay, is it this chiropractor thing again? You know how men tend to just cut through the emotions and get to the facts. And yes. Okay. If she is this adamant about it, oh, no, I'm sorry. The first thing he asked me is, why did we pick Dr. Krogstad? And honestly, because she was the best pediatrician in the county. Back then you didn't have the internet, so there was no Yelp, but I had done my due diligence and she was the best pediatrician in the county. And he goes, well, if the best pediatrician in the county is this adamant, what's the problem? And so, fine, click. Emotional woman, baby was only 13 days old. And this was my miracle baby. I was told I couldn't have kids. So this was my miracle. And I was not happy about taking her to a chiropractor. But, I finally realized I've got my pediatrician threatening me, my husband basically saying, stop being an idiot and do what the best pediatrician in the county is telling you to do. And so I called Dr. Claudia's office, and when I said I'm calling to make an appointment with Dr. Claudia Onrig, her office staff said, and is this appointment for you or your child? And I'm not even playing with you. Best pediatrician in the county's been telling me for a week that this doctor sees kids, but it wasn't until her office staff said those words that my brain went, oh, she sees kids. Nah, yeah. So we all have our aha moment. And so that was my aha moment. And I made the appointment for Michaela. By the time she saw her, because Dr. Claudia wanted to review all of her doctor's records, everything, prior to seeing her for the first time. And so by the time she got her first adjustment, she was only 21 days old. Okay, so here's an old saying. Someone with an experience is never at the mercy of someone with only an argument. I am telling you right now that within those first 3 months, my daughter, who rarely could have bowel movements without a suppository, Dr. Claudia would adjust her little lower back and she would fill her diaper right there. That numb arm, when Michaela was about 3 months old, she started doing this. Now, I'm sure you've got pictures. If you have babies, you've got a picture of your baby with both arms straight up over their heads. Okay. Michaela didn't do that. When she was 3, 4, 5 months old, she didn't do that. The way it works, instinctively, we understand that our arms will mirror. So if this arm can only go high, this arm will only go that high. And all of Michaela's baby pictures until she was 3 or 4 months old, the baby pictures were normally a baby'd have their arms straight up over their head. Michaela's were just like that. At 7 months old, after routine and regular chiropractic adjustments, my daughter raised her arms, both equally, all the way over her head. And that was, I was just like, wow, and I still didn't understand exactly what a big deal this was until I had been working for Dr. Claudia for maybe 6 or 7 years. And she was doing this program where she was training other pediatric chiropractors on how to better be a pediatric chiropractor. And this one doctor called and she says, I really need to have a consult with Dr. Claudia. Okay, what's this regarding? And she tells me, I have an 18-month-old that came in, brachial plexus injury at birth. I've been adjusting him for 6 months and I'm just not getting results. I'm sure I've got to be doing something wrong. Please, I need to speak with Dr. Claudia. And so Dr. Claudia and I had this thing where I would text her, this is the doctor's phone number, this is who the doctor is, this is what their problem is, please call them on your break. And that's what Dr. Claudia would do. Well, then on her lunch break, she would check in with me. And when she called to check in, I said, hey, so what's Dr. Jennifer doing wrong? And she goes, nothing. And I said, well, no, chiropractic helps kids with brachial plexus injuries. I know this, so what's she doing wrong? And she goes, Anastasia, she's not doing anything wrong. And I said, then after 6 months of adjustments, why isn't the baby responding? And she goes, oh, okay, totally different situation. I gave Michaela her first adjustment when she was only 3 weeks old. The parents of this 18-month-old went the allopathic route first. And so she didn't give him his first adjustment until he was a year old. And so it's been 6 months of adjustments that are trying to overcome a year of basically non-care. And I understood at that moment that my ignorance could have cost my daughter full range of motion in her left arm. So when I say I want to talk about pediatric chiropractic, I want parents to understand that sometimes chiropractic is the best thing that you can do for your babies. Do you have a baby that has problems with bowel movements, take them to a chiropractor. Not even kidding. And if, God forbid, your baby has a horrible delivery and ends up with a brachial plexus injury, do it sooner rather than later. And even if the delivery is fine, do you know what your baby's spine goes through in the act of being born? Get them checked. and if you have any doubts about anything I'm saying, which, I mean, I'm just giving you my experience. This is totally just anecdotal evidence. And for the most part, that's what chiropractic has going for it, is anecdotal evidence, because nobody's going to throw millions of dollars of research money at chiropractic because they'd rather have you taking a bunch of pills than getting better just by your spine being healthier. And let me tell you something else that the average person really doesn't know this. Your baby's spine doubles in size in the first 2 years of life. Doubles in size. And imagine their little spine growing that quickly in 2 years. And everybody talks about, oh my gosh, get your baby to the dentist at a year old. Well, if you care about their teeth being straight, why don't you care about their spine being straight? I mean, it's just, it just makes sense. And if you have any questions about what I'm saying, doubt me at all, take a moment and go to ICPA, the number 4, KIDS.org. That's ICPA for kids.org. That is the International Chiropractic Pediatric Association. Now, if you go to .com, that's normally the one for parents to go to. I'm kind of letting you in on a little secret. If you go to the ORG website for the ICPA, there is an area that talks about their PBRN, which stands for Practice-Based Research Network. And what you'll see there is just research going back to, I want to say it's 2007, where they have done research, had people that are part of the ICPA submit case studies and other research about what a difference chiropractic has made for the babies in their practice. Again, it's all anecdotal evidence, but it's still evidence. And you might be surprised at some of what you see. And there's a big study was done, I want to say it was 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. That one was huge, where they got a ton of data. They had all of their members collecting data and submitting it. And so it was this huge study. So anyway, that was what I wanted to share. I am absolutely grateful for a pediatrician that wouldn't let me wallow in my stupidity. I'm absolutely grateful that here in Fresno, California, we have the best pediatric chiropractor in the country. Dr. Claudia Onrig has actually edited the textbook that is used at chiropractic colleges. The textbook is called Pediatric Chiropractic. I'm actually the editorial assistant in there. Like I said, I worked for 20 years. So I think they're on the 3rd edition. Totally, if you want to pay a small fortune, it is on Amazon, but it literally reads like a textbook. So, I don't know why you'd want to spend over $100 on a textbook. But if you do, that's where you'll find it. It's available on Amazon. Like I said, I have the experience, and someone with an experience is never at the mercy of someone with only an argument. So nobody can tell me that chiropractic is not for children, because I can tell you flat out it is. But then again, it's just this woman's opinion. Thank you so much for being here, especially if you hung on to the end. Be blessed. Bye.